Welcome back to Modern Fat Thinking, where we take apart the wild claims of fat activists and replace them with facts. Today's target. Jordan thinks obesity has no connection to lipedema. The commenter says, being obese is a major risk factor for developing lymphoma. Let's dig in.
I think that you are confused, but I'm going to answer the question that I think that you are meaning to ask. Does fatness cause lipedema?
Oh, don't worry, I'm always confused, just like you were about the question. But please, go ahead and answer the question no one asked.
Does fatness cause lipedema? No, according to the Cleveland Clinic and the NHS, lipedema is not caused by fatness or obesity.
Right, because when obesity and lipedema are seen hanging out together, we're just supposed to believe it's a coincidence. Sure, lipedema isn't caused by obesity, but pretending they don't get worse together is like ignoring the elephant in the room, an elephant that, by the way, keeps gaining weight.
Just curious. Why obese in quotes?
Because of its anti-black history and misapplication of use in a medical setting as a justification for the neglect of fat patients, as well as its inaccuracy in determining health in patients overall.
I had no idea. Thanks.
In fact, most of the health outcomes that are commonly associated with obesity do not even apply to people who have lipedema.
Oh really? So you're telling me that all those health risks tied to obesity just skip right over people with lipedema? Obesity just takes a day off when it comes to lipedema, does it? Funny, because weight gain makes lipedema worse. But sure, let's pretend that being obese doesn't add a whole list of extra health risks to the mix. That's convenient.
People really struggle when we talk about disability and health and fatness with this issue of correlation versus causation, specifically with something like lipedema that causes weight gain and prevents weight loss.
The correlation versus causation argument. Let me make this simple. Just because obesity doesn't cause lipedema doesn't mean it doesn't make things worse. If we're going to play semantics, let's not forget that adding more weight is exactly what worsens the symptoms.
Specifically with something like lipedema that causes weight gain and prevents weight loss. Because most of the people who have lipedema are plus size or fat or obese, there is this misunderstanding that fatness is what causes the disorder.
Weight gain and the inability to lose weight? Yep, sounds like fatness might be playing a role here, doesn't it? But nope, according to her, it's just a misunderstanding. Just like how I misunderstand that eating a box of donuts will somehow help me lose weight. Must be the donut's fault.
Misunderstanding that fatness is what causes the disorder, as opposed to the disorder increasing the likelihood of a person being fat or becoming fat.
The age-old chicken and egg question. Did the fat come first, or did the disorder just roll out the welcome mat for it? Either way, they're pretty cozy together now, don't you think?
The primary symptom of the disorder, the thing that the disorder does, is cause this buildup of tissue that then results in a buildup of fluid. So, of course, most of the people who have lipedema are going to be fat, right? Like, duh.
Like duh? Well, if duh is the argument, I guess we're done here, right? Look, no one's shocked that people with lipedema are often obese, but that doesn't mean we get to pretend obesity doesn't make the condition even harder to manage. It's not a duh, it's a major issue.
Like, duh. Which is why a lot of folks in the medical field, in the lipedema community, are always trying to make this distinction that I don't always really totally agree with between obesity and lipedema.
Oh, even now you don't agree with medical professionals? Well, I don't agree with pineapple on pizza, but that doesn't make it any less real.
Because at the end of the day, like, if you are a higher weight individual, you are qualified as obese, because obese is a BMI measure. It doesn't really mean anything.
The classic BMI doesn't mean anything argument. If it doesn't mean anything, Why do we see the same health risks popping up every time someone's BMI skyrockets? Sure, it's not perfect, but dismissing it completely? That's a stretch, even for the BMI.
What I mean to say is that BMI, as we all know, does not take into account body composition, both for like bodybuilders who are mostly muscle and also for people who have lipedema.
Sure, we've got the same BMI as The Rock, except instead of muscle, we're rocking a whole lot of excuses.
Everyone's body is different. And we've seen groups like the American Medical Association start to move away from using BMI as a measure of health.
Look, even if the AMA is moving away from BMI as the sole measure of health, they aren't throwing it out the window like it's yesterday's garbage. It's a tool, just one of many. But I guess when you don't like the numbers, you just change the tool, right?
I really recommend everyone look into the creation and history of the BMI, both people who are really committed to separating lipedema from obesity and also people who just buy into BMI as a metric of health, because there's just like a lot in there that might surprise you.
So, in summary, obesity doesn't cause lipedema, but being obese sure doesn't help. The condition gets worse when you pile on more weight. Just like adding more toppings to a pizza doesn't make it healthier. Yes, I'm back to pizza analogies. Remember, facts don't care about feelings. If you want more pizza references, don't forget to like. Thank you.